Hello. Before I say anything else, I want to be honest with you. My name is Marcus Reeve, the voice behind this channel's educational content. I want to be upfront. I'm a character, not a professional about this topic. And I'm a just character voicing the educational content here. I want you to know that from the very first sentence, because the subject we're going to talk about today is serious. And when something serious is at stake, you deserve to know exactly who is speaking to you. I'm not going to give you medical advice in this video. What I am going to do is something different and, I hope, something useful. Today's headline may not be about your brain health, but it's perhaps much more important. Over the last several days, I read every official document I could find on the Hantavirus outbreak that's been in the news. The World Health Organization, the CDC in the United States, the ECDC in Europe. I read them carefully because I knew that somewhere out there, someone over 60, maybe you, maybe someone you love, was going to see the headlines and feel that cold knot in the stomach that comes when you don't know whether to be afraid or not. That feeling is the reason I'm making this video. I'm not making it to chase a trending topic. I'm making it because the people I think about when I prepare these videos are the people who lived through other health scares, SARS, swine flu, COVID, and who carry the memory of how confusing those first weeks felt. You deserve better than confusion this time. You deserve clear information in plain language, with no one trying to sell you something or scare you into staying on the screen. So please, settle in. Make yourself a cup of tea if you'd like. I'll go slowly, and I'll tell you everything I think matters. On the 2nd of May, 2026, the World Health Organization received a report. A Dutch cruise ship called the MV Hantavirus, which had set sail from Argentina on the 1st of April for a long journey through Antarctica and the remote South Atlantic, had a serious problem on board. Passengers were falling seriously ill. Some passengers had become very ill, with tragic outcomes. Laboratory tests came back and confirmed what doctors suspected: Hantavirus. Specifically, a strain called the Andes virus. As of the 8th of May, 6 confirmed cases, 2 suspected, and 3 deaths. The ship is now docked in Tenerife, and passengers are being repatriated to their home countries with the help of multiple governments. That's the news you may have already heard. What matters now is what these numbers actually mean for you, sitting in your home, watching this video. I want to start with something that I hope will give you some relief. Hantavirus is not new. It's not a mystery virus that appeared from nowhere. Scientists first identified it in the 1970s near a river called the Hantan in Korea. It's a family of about 20 related viruses, and the medical community has been studying them for over 50 years. This matters more than it might sound. Think back to early 2020 when COVID emerged. The hardest part of those first months wasn't only the virus itself, it was the not knowing. How it spread, who was at risk, what worked and what didn't. Every day was a question mark. Hantavirus is not like that. We know this virus. We know how it behaves, we know how it spreads, and we know how to avoid it. Here's the single most important fact. Hantavirus does not normally spread from person to person. Not through breathing the same air, not through shaking hands,
not through being in the same supermarket or restaurant or church or bus.
The one exception is the strain on that cruise ship, the Andes virus, which has been documented to spread between people in rare cases, but only through close and prolonged contact. not the kind of contact you have with strangers in daily life. I want you to feel the weight of that fact before we go any further. Because most of the worry people are carrying right now is based on a comparison to COVID, and that comparison is not the right one. Hantavirus comes from rodents, mice, rats, voles. The virus is found in the excretions of rodents, such as urine and droppings, and in their saliva. Here is how a person gets exposed. Imagine an enclosed space where rodents have been living, a cabin shut up for the winter, a basement no one has opened in months, a barn, a storage shed, an attic. Over time, these dried biological traces can become airborne as tiny particles. Then someone walks in, maybe to clean it, maybe to find something they stored away last year. They lift a box. They sweep the floor. The air stirs. And they breathe in particles they cannot see, cannot smell, and cannot taste. That is, in almost every case, how it happens. Quietly, without warning, without anything to feel in the moment. I tell you this not to frighten you, but because I think understanding the mechanism is what allows you to stop worrying about the wrong things and start paying attention to the right ones. You don't need to worry about your neighbor. You don't need to worry about the postman. You need to think about whether there is, somewhere in your life, an enclosed space where rodents may have been. I want to be direct with you, because being direct is a form of respect. Our bodies change with age. At 65 or 75, the immune system may respond differently than at 35. The immune system, which is your body's defense against any infection, responds a little more slowly than it once did. If you live with high blood pressure, with diabetes, with kidney disease, with chronic lung issues, and many people in this age group do, then a serious respiratory infection like hantavirus would hit you harder than it would hit a young adult. The form of hantavirus seen in the Americas, called hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, causes severe respiratory distress. It can lead to very serious health complications for a significant percentage of those infected. The European and Asian form, which affects the kidneys, can also be severe and sometimes requires dialysis. I share these numbers with you, not to alarm you, but because you are an adult who has lived a long time, and adults deserve real numbers rather than vague reassurances. But please hear me on this, because it's just as important. The chance of being exposed in the first place is genuinely very low. The World Health Organization currently assesses the global public health risk as low. That assessment isn't a slogan, it's based on the actual epidemiology of this virus and how rarely human exposures occur. A serious illness that you are very unlikely to encounter is a different kind of concern than one circulating in every cafe and bus. Both deserve respect, but they call for different responses. If any of the following describes your life, I want you to lean in a little. You live in the countryside or in a house with a garden where rodents could find shelter. You have a summer cottage, a mountain cabin, or a vacation home that sits closed for months at a time. You have a basement, garage, or shed you don't enter often. You've seen mouse droppings, gnawed wires, or chewed packaging in your home. You've noticed that strange, musty smell that closed spaces with rodents sometimes have. If any of that sounds familiar, please don't panic. But also please don't shrug it off. The right response is in the middle, and it's simple. If you need to clean an area where rodents have been, here is what the CDC has been recommending for years. It works. First, open it up. Doors, windows, everything. Leave the space for at least 30 minutes before you go back in. Let the air move through. This single step makes the biggest difference, and it costs you nothing but time. Do not sweep. Do not vacuum. I know this is the instinct. It's what we've all done our whole lives. But for this specific situation, it's the worst thing you can do, because it lifts the particles into the air you'll breathe. Set the broom aside. Wet everything down first. Mix 1 part household bleach with 10 parts water. Put it in a spray bottle. Spray on any droppings, urine stains, nests, or dead rodents. Let it sit for at least 5 minutes. The liquid does the work for you. Then wipe. Put on rubber gloves. If you have an N95 mask, wear it. Wipe everything up with paper towels or disposable cloths. Put what you used into a plastic bag, tie it tightly, and throw it away. When you're done, wash your hands well with soap. Change your clothes and wash them in hot water. That's the whole protocol. It isn't complicated. But please, if any of this feels physically difficult for you, if bending, kneeling, or working in enclosed spaces is hard, please don't try to do it alone. Ask a son, a daughter, a neighbor, or hire a pest control service. There is no pride lost in asking for help. There is dignity in knowing your limits. This is the part of the video I most need you to remember. If you forget everything else, please remember this. Hantavirus has an incubation period of 1 to 8 weeks, so symptoms can appear up to 2 months after exposure, often quite abruptly. The first symptoms look just like the flu: fever, body aches, tiredness, headache. Most people, understandably, assume it's a passing bug. They rest, they drink fluids, they wait it out. But hantavirus does not stay like the flu. Within 3 to 5 days, shortness of breath develops. Breathing becomes difficult. And from there, it can progress very quickly, sometimes within hours, to a critical condition requiring specialized medical attention. So here is what I'm asking you to remember. If, in the past 8 weeks, you have cleaned out a closed space where rodents may have been, or spent time somewhere rodents could have been present, and you now develop fever along with shortness of breath, please do not wait. Go to the emergency room. And when you arrive, tell the doctor this exact thing. I was recently in a place where rodents may have been present. Please consider whether this could be hantavirus. I cannot stress how important that sentence is. Without it, you may be diagnosed with the flu or pneumonia and sent home. With it, the doctor will know to consider tests and treatments that could change everything. The window for effective care is measured in hours, not days. Say the sentence, please. I want to balance everything I've said because excessive worry is its own kind of harm, especially for people in our age group. Stress affects sleep, blood pressure, and the heart. So let me tell you clearly what you do not need to do. You do not need to cancel a trip. Routine travel is safe. The CDC describes the risk to the general public as extremely low. You do not need to wear a mask in shops, on buses, in church, or with your grandchildren. This is not how hantavirus spreads. You do not need to disinfect your groceries or your mail. You do not need to keep your distance from friends. If there are no signs of rodents in your home, if you don't have a long closed cabin or shed in your life, then this news is something to be aware of, not something to be afraid of. The question to ask yourself is gentle and simple. Is there somewhere in my life a closed space where mice or rats may have been over the past months? If the answer is yes, follow the cleaning steps I described. If the answer is no, then you can let your shoulders down. Let me bring it together. Hantavirus is not new. It has been known for 50 years. It almost never spreads from person to person. The current outbreak is real, but contained to one ship and the people who were on it. For someone over 60, the most useful action is to know the cleaning protocol, to know the symptoms, and to know exactly what to say at the hospital if anything feels wrong. That's the information. But before I go, I want to say something else in my own voice. The voice of someone who chose to make this video instead of any of the other things I could have made. You have lived a long life. You have seen many things that frightened the world for a moment and then passed. You have raised children, supported families, worked through hard years. You've earned the right to clear, respectful information, free from manipulation. That has been my goal today. If something in this video helped you feel less afraid, or helped you understand what you can actually do, then it was worth making. Take care of yourself. Call your doctor if you have any questions, because your own doctor knows you in a way no video ever could. And if someone you love is over 60, please share this with them. Not to alarm them, just to let them know that there are calm, clear answers out there. Thank you for watching this video. Please comment and share it. That can help the other ones. I'll see you in the next one. The information shared in this video is drawn from official statements published in May 2026 by the World Health Organization, the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, ECDC. This video is for general educational purposes and is not personal medical advice. Please consult your own physician for any health concerns.